Fabulous win tonight for the Utah Jazz. Welcome to POSTCAST. David Locke along with Ron Boone. The Jazz beat the Thunder 109-94 tonight. Is this the best effort of the season?
Well, I'd say the best effort. Yeah, let's put it that way. The best effort. Maybe they're not. You know, you can always look at a stat sheet and say this best shooting night, or this was the best defensive night, or those type of things. But as far as effort, you're talking about a variety of things. So I would go along with you and say absolutely.
You know, it's funny. The Thunder shoot 56%, so you look at it and don't feel like it's a very good defensive night. But one of the things that I've been talking about with the Jazz defensively that I wanted to see, I thought we saw in the Chicago game, was that was one of the few times all year where the Jazz were dictating where the ball was going defensively. So much this year, the defense has been, okay, we'll just cover our spots, we'll contain, but teams have been able to get into their sets, run unencumbered. Tonight, I thought we really saw the Thunder have a hard time getting to where they wanted to go with the basketball, which to me is the first step defensively for this team to improve.
So what's that mean? 15 assists. And when that happens, that means you got to go one-on-one basketball with guys like Durant and Westbrook. And without James Harden, you know, another ball handler, that creates a problem there for the Thunder.
And they really got nothing else. You know, when they get a lot of guys in double figures, they win. Tonight, they really didn't get anything else. Millsap and Jefferson dominated Ibaka and Perkins the entire night. Perkins hit some jump shots, but he got 10 points on 11 shots. Ibaka got 10 points on 11 shots. The Jazz really dominated inside all night long. Points in the paint was one-sided for much of the night, and then it kind of slowed down at the end. But the Jazz really, you know, they had the much more well-rounded team tonight.
Well, and you can throw in Favors as well. I mean, the front line really outplayed or outscored and done the necessary things to win the basketball game for the Jazz. So Millsap, Favors, and Al Jefferson had a great night.
Well, you can see it across the Jazz box score. 6 guys in double figures tonight. They were led by 23 from Al and 18 by Millsap. Favors had 15. Burks had 13. Tamari had 13. But let's go to the fourth quarter because nobody felt comfortable. It's an 86-79 game. The Jazz led by 2 at the end of 1. They led by 6 at the half. They led by 7 going to the fourth. But, you know, no one's kidding themselves at that point. Okay, Chicago came back from behind on us. Clippers came back with Chris Paul from behind on us. They've got Durant and Westbrook. Here we go. Now, they don't open with it. They open with the bench unit of Ibaka, Collison. Durant's on the floor, but Jackson's in for Westbrook. And Al Jefferson hits the Wheezy to the middle, a nice jumper. Alec Burks hits the big jumper, and next thing you know, it's 92-79. The Jazz have pounded them, and then the Jazz continue that run 18-4, just ran away from them. Burks got a layup, Favors got a layup, Burks hit some free throws. In fact, in the final part of that run, it was all Burks and Favors that did the scoring for the Jazz, the final 8 points of that run.
And what went wrong with the Thunder? You know, Durant gets 1 for 2. He gets a little frustrated there. They went 7 for 18. They turned it over 4 times in that quarter. They only gave up, they gave up 6 points. That is enough. But Westbrook was not on the floor. I mean, he didn't make anything happen there. So the Jazz took advantage at during the period when we thought, the Jazz bench was in the ballgame, when we thought there was a period that they just might lose a little bit of control of the basketball game. But, the Burks, the Carrolls, Cantor, and those guys maintained it. As a matter of fact, increased the league to the point where the Jazz ended up winning.
It sounds crazy, but the Jazz only allowed 23 free throw attempts to the Thunder. When you talked to Ty Corbin before the game, he talked about 2 things being really vital tonight. One was to keep them out of transition. They ended up with 21 fast break points, but they didn't get – they had surges. They had 2 surges in the game where they had little runs, and the Jazz otherwise really cut them off, and they kept them off the free throw line pretty well. Those 2 were the vital things Ty Corbin talked about.
First in the league in free throw percentage, right? But they did not make 10 tonight, and Durant misses 1, a 4 for Westbrook, who's a 79% free throw shooter. So they struggled there as well, but the Jazz had a lot to do with it and took advantage of it.
Well, they only had 17 free throw attempts when they took the bench in the game. Westbrook and Durant were the only players on the Thunder to shoot a free throw tonight until late in the game when Liggins and Orton and all their bench guys got in. I mean, that goes back to what you were talking about, Ron. I think that the defense forced them out of team basketball and into one-on-one. And, frankly, physical defense usually drops Kevin Martin out of a game. He was totally absent tonight.
Well, it was fun to watch the Jazz game plan come to fruition. I mean, anytime I know you don't know what it's like in the locker room when before a ball game, and there's plays on the chalkboard. I know that's a little out of your
The whiteboard?
Yeah, the whiteboard, chalkboard, whatever. But,
He dated himself.
when those things when those
What's
things
chalk,
work.
Mr. Boone?
Huh?
What's chalk, Mr. Boone?
Chalk, and then you have an eraser, that type
What's an
of thing.
eraser, Mr. Boone?
But you know what I mean. I mean, things that they put up on the board before the ball game that you want to do offensively, defensively, how you want to play when it works. You feel like you put together a very good game plan, and you end up winning the basketball game. Coaches feel pretty good right now, I guarantee you.
Again, it's kind of the ongoing discussion the last week and a half. It probably should be. Alec Burks play tonight. What did you see?
I saw him again playing his natural position, and other than a few times where he just kind of out of control in a big hurry, I think he's really starting to play well, getting a chance to play well, and was ready for that opportunity. I mean, you have to be very impressed with that.
I love the fact that I thought he was really poor in the first half. He didn't get back defensively once or twice. He missed some rotations. He just wasn't engaged in the game.
Yeah.
I love the fact that he played so well in the second half after not playing well in the first half. To me, that's a major developmental step, because so often, and Cantor's beginning to do it too, if you go back to last year and you go back to earlier this year, when they were off early, they didn't have 0 to 50. On that day, they were driving a Pinto instead of a Jaguar, and it never got up to 50 going up the hill. Tonight, we're seeing them be able to shift out of it and get into other elements of their game.
Too tall to be driving a Pinto.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
What is a Pinto? Jazz win it tonight. They really handle the Thunder beautifully, and everyone plays well. Maybe the biggest point of all, 48 minutes, continual effort with very little gaps, and maybe no gaps tonight. As good a win as you'll see all year. The Jazz beat the Thunder, and for those Jazz fans this year, they've seen the Jazz beat the Lakers, the Spurs, the Heat, and the Thunder at home. It's a very nice win for the Jazz tonight. We'll see you in Minnesota tomorrow. On behalf of Ron, I'm David. Have a good night and be safe.